Now, every martial art has its ups and downs, besides maybe one with no downs. Now, I'm going to be ranking these martial arts based on 1, how cool they look, and 2, how effective they are in real life scenarios like street fights. Now, I'm not claiming to be the next Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee or martial arts guru or anything like that, but I've done a bit of research, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, the first martial art I'm going to be ranking is karate. Karate originated in Japan with many Chinese influences, and even though karate has many variations, they usually stick to a few core techniques, those being punching, kicking, knee strikes, and elbow strikes, along with a few open hand techniques. Now, the basics behind karate philosophy, it not only involves physical training, but also involves mental discipline and things like that. You'll have seen karate in a lot of movies and TV shows like Karate Kid or Cobra Kai. Now, for the rating, I think that karate is going to deserve a B tier, right in the middle. The reason I'm giving this rating is because I think it looks very cool. If you ever watched like Karate Kid or Cobra Kai, like I just mentioned, you'll obviously know that a lot of the things can be really cool in that. And it can be very helpful in like a street fight just by doing a few basic moves that a lot of people that you're probably going to end up fighting if you go into a street fight won't be able to really counter or react to. Kung Fu originated in China, like way back in ancient times. It has a bunch of influences from temples and hand movements and stuff like that. Now Kung Fu has many variations, but they stick to a few core techniques. Just like many martial arts that I see in this video, which would be punching, kicking, and throwing strikes with an open hand. Now the basics behind the Kung Fu philosophy does not only involve physical training, but a lot of balance and inner energy and things like that. You'll see Kung Fu in a lot of movies and TV shows like Bruce Lee flicks and Jackie Chan stuff, or old Kung Fu movies and stuff. Now for the rating, I think that Kung Fu is going to deserve a C tier. It obviously looks very cool, like in Jackie Chan movies and Bruce Lee movies like Enter the Dragon and stuff. But a lot of people But I think that karate takes it like a step further by adding a bunch of like more harsh techniques, like its knee strikes and elbow strikes and like stuff like that. Aikido comes from Japan, created by this guy, Morihei Ueshiba, I believe that's how you say it, way back in the early 1900s. He mixed up jujutsu, sword stuff, and his own spiritual ideas to make an art all about redirecting your opponent's energy instead of just clashing head-on. Even though it has some variations, the main thing is throws, joint locks, and flowing with the attack. The philosophy behind it is more about harmony and using the other person's force against them, not just about brute strength or anything like that. You'll see it in a bunch of movies where the hero makes bad guys look silly, like in Steven Seagal films. For the rating, I think that Aikido deserves a C tier. 1, it looks pretty smooth and almost effortless, like whenever you redirect those attacks. But it can be helpful in certain scenarios if attackers come straight at you. But if some aggressive dude's just throwing wild haymakers, like with no commitment, then good luck trying to flow with that. It would feel more like a kind of demonstration than a real street fight to me. Shoot. Muay Thai comes from Thailand, and it started as an old battlefield fighting for warriors and turned into the art of 8 limbs. Those 8 limbs being your fists for punching, your feet for kicking, your elbows for elbowing people, and your knees for kneeing people, as well as some heavy clinch work. But the main thing about it is being very tough and conditioning your body to be very hard. We've seen it in a lot of movies where people are just like throwing like flying elbows and flying knees and stuff like that. Now for the rating, Muay Thai is definitely going to be our first S tier of this video. I think it looks it's like one of the coolest looking martial arts in my opinion, and it can be very helpful in real life scenarios by just doing powerful strikes that most untrained people won't be able to counter. Like it really works and looks really cool. Judo comes from Japan, created by Jigoro Kano in the late 1800s from old jujutsu. It's all about throws, leverage, pins, and using the other person's force against them. The philosophy is called the gentle way, but you'll still get slammed insanely hard. You've seen it in action scenes where people or someone gets flipped clean. Now, for the rating, Judo is going to be our first A tier. It looks very cool with those smooth and powerful throws, and it can also be very helpful in scenarios by taking down bigger guys without needing much brute strength. And you get solid control when they're on the ground as well. BJJ comes from Brazil. It evolved from Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Judo by the Gracie family. It's all about ground fighting, chokes, joint locks, and using leverage, so size doesn't matter that much. And you've seen it dominate very early UFC and all the submission highlights. Like, very beginning of UFC, if you knew any submission training, then you pretty much won your match. Now for the rating, I think BJJ will deserve A tier, just above Judo. And the reason being is it looks really cool whenever you just like have someone like a crazy arm bar or something like that. And it can also be very helpful because most street fights end up on the ground. It's a proven thing. You probably heard it before. And it can let smaller people control dudes who are a lot bigger than them way easier. Number 6 is going to be capoeira or capoeira. Capoeira comes from Brazil, created by enslaved Africans who turned fighting into a dance with acrobatics and stuff. It's full of tricky kicks, flips, and evasions. You've seen it in music videos, movie fight scenes that look like straight performances. For the rating, I think capoeira will deserve a C tier. One, it obviously looks really cool with all those flips and spins, but dancing around in a real street fight, you'll probably get rocked really quickly. It's a lot more like a dance than it is being used in practical fights. Next up is JJJ. JJJ comes from old Japan with like samurai era stuff with throws, strikes, joint locks, and weapon defenses. It's a traditional route that later influenced Judo and BJJ. You've seen it in historical samurai movies and demos. For the rating, I think that JJJ will deserve a D tier. Now, the reason why it's getting a low tier like D is, like, it can look okay with, like, those old school demos and stuff, but when it comes to the practical use, it feels, in my opinion, pretty stiff and dated compared to the modern variations of it. It's not the best for chaotic street fights. Next up is Krav Maga. Now, kickboxing came from the 1960s and 1970s, basically mixing Western boxing punches with the kicks from karate and Muay Thai. It's all about these stand-up combos with hands and legs. You've seen it in movies like the Kickboxer series and seeing people throw and also you've seen it in the UFC a lot. For the rating, I think kickboxing is going to be a D tier right above karate because it just has a better kit, like a better toolkit than regular karate by adding more onto it. And it also can look very cool with those flowing, like punch and kick combos flowing together, and it can be very helpful by giving more tools than just playing boxing or karate. And that leads us right over to our next martial art, Western boxing. Western boxing goes way back, but it got its old modern form from England with pure hand fighting, footwork, and head movement. You've seen it in Rocky, Creed, and pretty much every boxing movie ever. For boxing, I'm going to give it a C, like a high C tier. It's going to go above capoeira, but below aikido. Actually, it'll go above aikido. The reason I'm putting it at a C tier, despite it being very popular, is because one, I think it has a worse kit than kickboxing because it's just punching instead of punching and kicking. But it can be helpful because, like, like your punches are going to be very powerful because you've learned to like how to carry your punches to do more damage, and your defense and head movement can be able to avoid attacks very easily. It's proven. Next up is Greco-Roman wrestling. Greco-Roman wrestling is very ancient. Obviously, it comes from Greece and Rome. It's all about upper body throws, pins, and control, but it has no leg attacks. You've seen it in Olympic stuff and wrestling crossovers and action scenes. For the rating, I'm going to give Greco-Roman wrestling a C tier below Aikido and above Capoeira. Now, the reason I'm giving it a C tier is it obviously looks pretty cool with like those giant slams and takedowns, and it can be somewhat helpful in real life scenarios, but you're not going to be able to attack the legs, which is a very structural point in someone, which is why it leads us straight into freestyle wrestling. Freestyle wrestling is a much more modern version of Greco-Roman style wrestling, which lets you attack the legs and uses a lot more techniques than Greco-Roman wrestling. It's all about explosive takedowns, like a double leg, and pinning people down. You've seen it in the Olympics and a bunch of wrestling-inspired fight scenes, just like Greco-Roman style wrestling. For the rating, I'm going to give it a B tier, just below just above karate. Now, the reason I'm giving it a B tier is because those fast takedowns can be very helpful in real scenarios by controlling someone's base and lets you dominate more street fight scraps. And obviously looks very cool, like whenever you're suplexing someone or doing a double leg takedown. Now, our next martial art is a Osoro type of wrestling called sumo wrestling. It comes from ancient Japan, all about big and like very big wrestlers using like ritualistic slaps inside a small circle and trying to push someone outside of it. It's very heavy on tradition and raw strength, and you've seen it in like documentaries or cultural films. I can't really think of any movies you've seen it in. For sumo wrestling, it's going to go in D tier below Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Now, it can look very cool with all those chest slaps and stuff, but if you're going against like anyone in a street fight, you're never going to be trying to beat your chest like a monkey or trying to push someone outside a circle. And now for one of my favorite martial arts, Kali / other Filipino martial arts. Kali comes from the Philippines, as I just said, and it's all about stick fighting and knife work, flowing straight into empty hand techniques. It's built for real weapon defense, and you've seen it in a lot of action movies such as Dune. It's like the main thing they use in Dune, like all the knife fights you see with Paul Atreides and that white guy, I don't remember his name, like whenever they're fighting, that's all Kali. For the rating, I think it's going to be an A tier, just above Judo. And the reason it's getting an A tier is one, it looks very cool with like those spinning sticks and fluid movements, and two, it can be insanely helpful in real life scenarios because the weapon stuff actually comes up in on street and it adapts really quickly. It's like the most underrated martial art in my opinion. Now we're on the home stretch. Next up is Taekwondo. Taekwondo comes from Korea, as you can see on this little symbol, and was made popular in the mid-1900s with all those fast high kicks and spinning techniques. It even became an Olympic sport, and you've seen it in Power Rangers and stuff like that with all those crazy spinning kicks. For the rating, I'm going to give it a D tier. I'll give it a D tier above Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. And the reason it's getting this D tier, like it looks really cool with those spinning kicks, but can it be really helpful? Like it can be helpful at long range, but if you ever get on the ground or if they just get like close up, you're kind of screwed. Like the cool is like it's really cool, but that's about it. Next up is Jeet Kune Do, made by Bruce Lee in the 1960s. He makes basically whatever worked. It's not like a fixed fighting style. It's just be like the water and adapt on the fly. We've seen it in a bunch of his classic movies like Enter the Dragon, just like Kung Fu. And for the rating, I'm going to give it a B tier above Karate. The reason I'm giving it a B tier is it looks very cool, and Bruce Lee made the whole thing. He only made it look insanely cool, like very legendary. And it can be helpful in other scenarios because it's all about adapting and not sticking to one rigid way. It's versatile. That's what makes it so good. Tai Chi. Tai Chi comes from ancient China. It's all about very slow and flowing movements. It started as a martial art, but mainly turned into like a health and meditation thing. You've seen it in like wellness videos and graceful demos and like stuff like that. Tai Chi is going to be your first F tier. The reason I'm giving it an F tier is like it looks kind of cool, like it's like peaceful and stuff, and a lot of it's just basically like a slower version of karate, but that's what makes it worse than a street fight. It's very slow. That's what brings it down. It's basically like bringing yoga to a brawl. There's not a whole lot of stopping power in it. And for our last martial art of the day, it's going to be MMA. MMA blew up in the 90s with the UFC, basically mixing the best parts of whatever you got. Striking, grappling, wrestling, you name it, and it's pretty much going to be in there. You've seen it in UFC events and pretty much every modern fight highlight. For the rating, I'm going to give it our second S tier. I think it's going to be above Muay Thai, just because it has a lot more tools at its disposal. And it looks insanely cool. Like if you ever watched the UFC and seen like people like just spin kicking, like just it looks cool in my opinion. It brings everything together, and it can be helpful because it covers literally everything. Like you'll pretty much never be caught off guard. It's a full package, and that's it. Every martial art ranked from worst to best. Some look really cool, but fold really quickly in the street. Others are pretty good at getting the job done. What do you guys think? Did I do good? Did I be too mean? Let me know in the comments. What's your S tier and why? If you liked this video, smash that like button and subscribe button if you're new. I'll catch you in the next video. See you.